Once upon a time, in the deep, blue sea, there lived a fish named Rainbow Fish. He was the most beautiful fish in the entire ocean. His scales shimmered and sparkled in all the colors of the rainbow, each one gleaming brighter than the other. No fish could compare to him. He was admired by every creature in the sea, and his beauty made him feel very special. Rainbow Fish would swim gracefully through the water, his iridescent scales glistening in the sunlight that filtered down through the surface. All the other fish would stop what they were doing just to watch him. They envied his beauty, and many of them wished they could be as magnificent as Rainbow Fish. But despite all the attention and admiration he received, Rainbow Fish was lonely. He felt that his beauty was the only thing that defined him, and while others admired him from a distance, no one really knew the real Rainbow Fish. One day, as Rainbow Fish swam near the coral reef, a small blue fish swam up to him. The little fish looked up at Rainbow Fish with wide, admiring eyes. "Rainbow Fish, you are so beautiful. Can you please give me one of your shiny scales?" the little blue fish asked. Rainbow Fish was taken aback by the request. He had never been asked for anything before. He was used to being the one who gave nothing, except for the beauty of his scales, which everyone admired. But the idea of parting with one of his precious scales didn't sit well with him. He was proud of his shimmering scales and couldn't bear the thought of losing one. "I'm sorry, but I can't give you one of my scales," Rainbow Fish replied, swimming away quickly. The little blue fish was disappointed, but it didn't argue. It swam away, leaving Rainbow Fish to continue his journey through the sea. But as Rainbow Fish swam, a feeling of emptiness began to grow inside him. He had always been admired for his beauty, but it felt shallow. He had never really made any friends, and all the attention he received seemed so superficial. He began to wonder if his beauty was really all that mattered. As the days passed, more and more fish came to Rainbow Fish, asking him for one of his glittering scales. One by one, the fish swam up to him, eyes shining with admiration and longing. Each one asked for a scale, but Rainbow Fish refused them all. He couldn't part with his scales, not even one. Yet, the more he denied the other fish, the lonelier he became. One day, a wise old octopus appeared on the reef. He had been watching Rainbow Fish for some time and could see the sadness that had crept into the beautiful fish's eyes. "Rainbow Fish, I see that you are troubled," the octopus said kindly. "What is it that weighs so heavily on your heart?" Rainbow Fish sighed deeply and explained everything to the octopus. "I have so many beautiful scales, yet I am so lonely. All the other fish admire me from a distance, but they never really get to know me. They just want my scales. I don't know what to do." The octopus looked at Rainbow Fish with understanding. "You see, Rainbow Fish, it is not your beauty that makes you special. It is your heart. You will never find true happiness if you keep all your scales to yourself. You must share them with others, and only then will you experience the joy of friendship." At first, Rainbow Fish didn't quite understand. He looked at his sparkling scales and couldn't imagine parting with them. They were a part of who he was. They made him feel unique. But the more the octopus spoke, the more Rainbow Fish began to see the wisdom in the old creature's words. The next day, Rainbow Fish swam toward the coral reef where the other fish gathered. As he swam, he thought about what the octopus had said. He looked at his reflection in the water and saw the beauty that everyone else admired. He felt the warmth of the sunlight on his shimmering scales and thought, perhaps for the first time, that it would feel good to share. As Rainbow Fish approached the reef, he saw the little blue fish again. The small fish was swimming along, looking a little sad. Without thinking, Rainbow Fish swam up to him and gently nudged him. "Would you like a scale?" Rainbow Fish asked quietly. The little blue fish's eyes grew wide with surprise. "A scale? You would give me one of your beautiful scales?" Rainbow Fish smiled warmly. "Yes, I think I would." And so, Rainbow Fish gently plucked one of his shimmering scales and handed it to the little blue fish. The small fish's face lit up with joy, and he thanked Rainbow Fish profusely. As Rainbow Fish watched the little blue fish swim away, something remarkable happened. He felt a warm sensation inside him, a feeling of happiness and contentment. It wasn't the same as the fleeting admiration he had once received. It was deeper, more genuine. For the first time, Rainbow Fish felt like he had made a real connection with someone. As the days passed, Rainbow Fish continued to share his scales with the other fish. With each scale he gave away, he felt his heart grow lighter. The more he shared, the more he realized that he didn't need all of his scales to feel special. It was the joy of giving that made him truly shine. The other fish were overjoyed. They had never seen a fish like Rainbow Fish before, so kind and generous. Soon, Rainbow Fish was surrounded by friends, real friends who liked him not because of his scales, but because of his heart. The fish would gather around him, sharing stories and playing games, and for the first time in his life, Rainbow Fish felt truly happy. One day, after giving away many of his scales, Rainbow Fish swam into the middle of the reef. He looked around at all the fish who now surrounded him, each one wearing a scale of his own. The sea had never felt so full of life, and the fish were happier than they had ever been before. Rainbow Fish had given away so many of his shiny scales that his once glittering body was now just a simple, plain fish. But something wonderful had happened. As the other fish saw his humble and kind spirit, they admired him more than ever. They didn't care about the color of his scales, they cared about who he was inside. As Rainbow Fish swam through the waters, he realized that his true beauty wasn't in the glittering scales he had once held so dear. It was in his willingness to give, to share, and to love. And now he was surrounded by friends who loved him for who he was, not just for what he looked like. The other fish in the sea learned an important lesson that day. They learned that true beauty comes from the heart, and that sharing, kindness, and friendship are what make the world a brighter, more beautiful place. From that day on, Rainbow Fish was never lonely again. He had found something far more precious than his shimmering scales. He had found friendship, love, and the joy of giving. And so, Rainbow Fish continued to swim through the ocean, not as the most beautiful fish in the sea, but as the happiest fish, surrounded by a school of friends who loved him for the kindness he had shown to them. The lesson of the Rainbow Fish. The story of the Rainbow Fish teaches us that true beauty is not found in outward appearances, but in the kindness and generosity we show to others. When we share, love, and care for those around us, we discover the true magic of friendship and the happiness that comes from giving. Just like the Rainbow Fish, we all have the potential to shine brightest when we let go of selfishness and embrace the joy of sharing with others. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends. And let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.